think this whole process, I mean, it has been a winding journey of a process.
What would be a successful week here?
A victory would be awfully nice too.
A victory. To me, that comes off as a little cocky or brash.
I've always figured that why go to a tournament if you're not going there to try and win? There's really no point in even going. That's the attitude I've had my entire life, and that's the attitude I will always have.
Tiger Woods is an American professional golfer who is among the most successful golfers of all time.
Be an accountant to count up all the records by the end of the day. So you were compelled to watch what he was going to do next.
There was nothing like Tiger.
Really hard to describe, Dan, just how good that shot was.
Now it's a quest for perfection.
Incredible short game the man had.
4 birdies, 5 holes on this back nine at Pebble Beach.
Largest lead after 36 holes, 6 strokes. Largest 54-hole lead, 10 strokes.
Tiger Woods is the 100th U.S. Open champion in history.
To win a major championship by 15 shots, it's just up.
He's made it. 2 eagles on the front 9. Eagle on 4, eagle on 7 for Tiger Woods. And guess who?
At 3, 4, 3 birdies. Chip this in if he's going to keep the sequence going.
Soaring into the blue sky.
Oh, it's in. Oh, it's in. He doesn't know yet. Yeah, he knows now.
There is such a thing as perfection, and because we are human, we're all technically imperfect, so how can we ever achieve perfection? My mind's won me a lot of tournaments, but physically I always felt that I wasn't as good as I could be. But what I will tell you this, that I've always been a big believer of professional excellence. When you have to make a putt, you make a putt. You have to hit this shot, you hit this shot.
It is actually interesting because usually I hit my 3-wood pretty low off the deck, and now it's actually going a lot higher.
Also, one other thing too, when you're playing a cut, I would turn the left foot out a little more towards the target.
Okay. Left foot?
Just a fraction more towards the target.
I like that. Left foot a little open.
Aim more right though.
More?
Aim more right. There you go. Turn the left foot out. You got it. Good. Swing. That's the club.
Yeah. That one was struck well.
That was club.
Yeah.
That was you. That was nice. Beautiful path.
Yeah, that one felt really good.
Beautiful path.
6 now, and Tiger Woods in trouble.
Pretty much straight away par 4, just under 420 yards. Now let's see. Bending over much more than he would like to. Very upright swing.
Great shot.
Make contact, and then who cares what happens after that? What a fantastic shot.
Is that considered a hit and run?
I like a 5-wood that has options because I use it a lot for not only, I don't use a 2-iron that often anymore because it's changed. But I love the 5-wood out of the rough, chopping down on it. If say we're playing bigger tournaments with high rough, 170 yards out, I might open up a 5-wood and kind of chip one. I like having that option.
I want to hit some chip shots out of rough now.
That's
like
perfect.
Yeah.
So I'd set that face open like that. Just chop straight down on top of it. Best example would be like if you were going to hit like a punch 7-iron through the trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's how you'd play it.
Okay.
And the loft do all the work for you.
So punch 7-iron.
Yeah. Just chop straight down on top of it. It's awesome. Exactly.
Golf shot.
See how easy that is?
Golf shot. That is easy.
Well done.
That for Eagle.
Even when bunkered off the tee at the par 4 17th, Tiger was unfazed. 172 yards with a 6-iron.
He likes it.
Oh, man.
Oh, what a golf shot.
And so do I. Excuse me.
Roger, that's tremendous. Because I don't know if I could have even gotten it over the lip.
After a huge drive at the 508-yard par 5 18th, Tiger was left with just a sand wedge in his hands.
This is just left of the flag. Spin back.
Hello, folks. How do you like this? Birdie, eagle, birdie. 6-footer for an eagle again.
Okay, let's say if you got to lie, get a little more grain. Somebody's already been there, like you. You just been there, like that, like that.
Where I still have to carry it, or
yeah,
just
like how would you actually get this close? Forget carry it. Just try, how do you get this close?
For me, I think this one, sitting down, knowing that I can't really get to the ball, just say it's a little grainier in, I'm actually going to like almost take it like a bunker shot.
Okay.
And just kind of take it steep and behind the ball.
I don't think we've ever seen somebody compete like we saw at the 100th playing of the Open.
You're the man! It was simply remarkable that one individual was so much better than the 155 other players.
US Open is so hard and it's so easy to make a mistake. And so for Tiger to do what he did is without a doubt the greatest performance in golf history.
Wow, it's just not a fair fight. No.
For people watching, when he says that, yeah, technique is huge, but when he's going at it harder, it's because he's cutting it. But that doesn't mean everything's tightening up and he's going at that. He's going at it from here to here. And then the first swing, you hit it higher.
This distance is aggressively.
Yeah. And then hit the high one again, where your dad said it's a higher follow, just so they can see this, because this is brilliant.
Now, if I want to play like a big hooking sweeper in there, face is way open. This is where I stand a little bit differently. I'll stand further away from it. I'll stand flatter, make my arc more round. You see it has a lot of hook to it.
Majority of the women, I think, draw the golf ball versus fade. I mean, probably find maybe 5-ish girls that actually fade the golf ball. For me, I think one consistent ball flight has worked for me with driving distance and driving accuracy.
Yeah, you have to adapt to the courses that you're playing and the tests that you're.
Except obviously with majors, we've, like, let's say Pebble this year, I would say that was more of a draw bias. No, when I played Pebble for the first time
I
ever,
wouldn't say
like
so.
2.
Yeah, but there are some holes. If you can hit a hot cut, you can run it out quite a bit, like 9, 10. Exactly. You got to cut it on 14.
10. Don't even talk to me about 10. I found the right beach there twice.
Played there one time that I couldn't even get to the fairway on 10.
Oh yeah.
It was blowing so hard, raining so hard.
Yeah.
I hit 4-iron on 7, driver 6-iron to 18. When it was blowing, 40. It just, that golf course is so wild and so crazy.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
It's as close to perfection as any performance in 4 rounds of golf because of where we were, what the elements threw at him.
Good night.
I think in terms of golf history, it's probably the greatest championship that's ever been played.
It all came together for one magical week.
200th U.S. Open, Pebble Beach. It has a very, very special ring to it. Of course.
Bounce is your friend, and especially in bunkers, bounces in the most important part about it. If you don't have any bounce, then it's going to be digging, and they don't practice enough. So I would say stay north of 12.
Yeah, yeah, like you said. I mean, and mind you, that when it comes to amateurs playing out of a bunker, I'm constantly telling them, open the face, open the face, open the face.
To get more bounce.
And that's what you got to do. You have to open the face to get the bounce, to be able to get it up out of the sand. Yeah. They seem to come in and just come in with a square face. When you come into the square face, it wants to dig. So you got to open that face, get the bounce, and to propel it out of the bunker.
That would be my chunk and run.
The shot that everyone remembers, of course, is out of the rough on the 6th hole.
If you drove it in the right rough, you had big problems. There's a large cliff that you have to loft the ball up and over. Every player that had been in the right rough had to pitch out left short underneath the hill.
He's got 202 yards to the hole.
Tiger wades in there and he grabs a 7-iron and man, he's gonna try to get it up on top of this hill. Are you kidding me? I mean, this is big risk.
First of all, he's not thinking about laying up. And second of all, it's a 7-iron. Is that enough to get there?
When you're a caddy, I think it's like being an on-course psychologist. You need to try and read a guy's mind and saying the right thing at the right time and not saying something at the right time. When Tiger was quiet, that always was a confident feeling I got from him. And that certainly was the case that hole. You just knew that if there's any chance you can get the club on the ball, he's going to do it.
That tree wasn't going to come in play. I had a good enough lie where I felt like I could squeeze it up there and I could catch a hot one. I came down steep enough, I just knew I could get the little flyer out of it.
The swing he made at it was vicious.
Look at this. It's just not a fair fight. No.
That shot on 6 wasn't as hard as people thought it was. I just open up a 7-iron, just hit as hard as I can.
Fortune favours the brave sometimes, and that's an example where fortune favoured the brave.
All right, now Tiger from the bunker.
Good lie, wind kind of back in his face.
Oh, yeah. How about this? Tiger with some early magic here at the Hero World Challenge in round 3. Jars it from the bunker.
There are a lot of golf tips out there. Some are good, and some are not so good. So we have put together 10 golf swing tips that will help you improve your game. These tips are researched, tested, and recommended by golf professionals and single-digit handicaps. Here are our top 10 golf swing tips. At number 1. Choose your target wisely. Golfers love to hit the ball a long way, they don't always plan where the ball is going to land. If you want to get great at golf, you need to choose a particular target. Sometimes the pin is not going to be enough. If you look at the green and the pin is on the left side, but there are 2 bunkers and a pond, why are you going to the pin? This is not a wise choice. At this point, you may want to hit it on the opposite side of the green. Don't just choose the opposite side of the green, make sure you have a much more specific area than that. Choose a browned out piece of grass, pick a spot in line with a flagpole. Anything you need to give your brain a clear and distinct target. At number 2. Perfect your takeaway. The takeaway is such an essential part of the golf swing. So much can go wrong in a takeaway if it is not done correctly. On the contrary, if your takeaway is done correctly, you could end up on the right swing path right from the start. If you want to perfect your takeaway, try to have someone take some videos of your golf swing. Have them stand, so they get the head-on view and the down-the-line view. You'll be able to see if your club face looks correct, and if your golf club is traveling on the right path. Practicing chipping is another excellent drill when you want to work on your takeaway. A chip shot very often will mirror a perfect takeaway when it is done correctly. At number 3. Spend time on posture. We fully understand that the most annoying part of golf to practice is the stance, setup, and posture. You should just be able to address the golf ball, feet shoulder width apart, and you are good to go. Unfortunately, this just isn't the case, and professionals will tell you that perfecting the golf setup, stance, and posture is going to make all the difference in your game. If something starts to go wrong and you start hitting the golf ball poorly, your first step should be to check your setup. Many times your weight is not distributed correctly, or your shoulders and hips are misaligned. At number 4. Relax your grip. How many times has someone offered you a tip that your golf grip was too strong? That's great information, but do you know how to weaken it? If you want to master the perfect grip, you will need to spend time learning what it looks like. You should be able to put your hands on the golf club and create a neutral grip, a weak grip, and a strong grip. If you know how to grip the club in all of these ways, you can use it to your advantage. At number 5. Draws and fade intentionally. If you have ever had a golf swing where the ball took off straight, and then had a slight draw as it fell in towards the hole, you know what a rewarding experience this is. If you have no idea how this happened, then you probably need to learn. Knowing how to hit a draw and a fade, when necessary, take quite a bit of time and work, but it is possible. Generally speaking, lower handicap golfers are the ones that work the ball, but they are not doing it with every shot. The easiest ways to hit draws and fade intentionally are to manipulate the club face and the stance. If you want to hit a draw, your club face will be a little closed and impact. You will aim a little towards the right, and the ball will travel from right to left. When hitting a fade, you simply reverse the process. At number 6. Putting and chipping. One of the most excellent golf tips of all time is that the game needs to start from the green and work its way back from the tee. If you don't have confidence in your ability to putt, you will put too much pressure on yourself to chip it close. If you put this type of pressure on your chipping game, it will likely not be the strong point in your golf game, and you will end up starting to try and force your irons onto the green. This is a debilitating process and allows the issues to continue throughout your entire game. If you get great at putting, you will be able to swing freely as you won't be worried about having to make a 10 or 20 footer. You should practice putting every day if it is possible. At number 7. See the club hit the ball. Amateur golfers love to say keep your head down. This is not the best golf swing tip we have ever heard. Keeping your head down can restrict your golf swing a bit and throw off your swing path and finish position. The concept of keeping your head down is not a bad one. It's just the way that golfers try to implement it that becomes a problem. Instead of keeping your head down, we like to say, see the club hit the ball. Whether or not you will witness the actual impact is debatable, but the concept is effective. Every golf swing that a player takes needs to be where their body, club, and ball align. If this occurs, the ball flight and distance of the shot will be ideal. At number 8. Don't slide. As far as golf tips go, this is a simple one. Your only job in order to comply with this important tip is to avoid sliding during the swing. That goes for both directions. You don't want to slide away from the target, and you don't want to slide toward the target, either. Ideally, you will be able to keep your weight in the middle of your stance as you swing back, and your weight will only move forward toward the target in the downswing as a result of your rotation rather than a slide. Balance is crucial in golf, and staying away from any kind of sliding action will quickly make you a better player. There are 2 common points in the golf swing for a player to slide. The first is during the takeaway. As the club starts in motion, some players will slide away from the target, allowing their body weight to move with the club. The other common spot for a slide in the golf swing is during the transition, when some players will slide their lower body toward the target before they get started with any kind of rotation. Obviously, you want to avoid both of these mistakes in order to make your swing as powerful and consistent as possible. At number 9. Finish the swing. If you are a sports fan, you know that all types of swings have finishes. You can watch baseball, tennis, even hockey and see that the players will follow through after their swing. If you follow through with your golf swing, you will have much better results. Some people may ask why the follow-through matters so much if the ball has already been hit. The real reason behind this is that if you stop your follow-through short, you have stopped your body and the club well before you should have. Most likely, you were decelerating through impact, and this will potentially throw the ball off the target line. Your golf swing finish should be balanced, it should be complete, and the club should end up by your left ear with your facing your target. If, for some reason, you can't get to a balanced and complete finish, you must take a look at your swing path and your tempo and make the necessary adjustments. At number 10. Maintain a good tempo. Last on our list of golf swing tips is to maintain a good tempo. You may hear people say things like, "The guy is swinging out of his shoes." His golf swing isn't as much the problem as his tempo, timing, and balance. A visual of the different positions in the swing happening at different time. To get an excellent golf tempo, you need to have a few things in place. For starters, you should have a great balance. Your posture and setup should all ensure that your body is in a great starting position. Once you have these things in place, you must swing at an even pace that allows you to stay balanced. As your golf swing gets faster, you will learn how to control this speed but still keep great tempo. The professionals on the tour swing with speeds that most of us could not even fathom, but they do it with timing and tempo. Hopefully, our golf swing tips help you feel as though your golf swing has a few new things to work on. Try to pick one area of your game at a time to master. Overwhelming your brain and your body with too many golf swing tips can cause poor results. Always, make sure that the golf swing tip your buddy gives you is worth implementing in your golf swing. Need help with your ball striking? Check out these superb secret tips from 10 of the world's best players. As golfers, we are all looking for that one swing thought, that single game-changing move that can suddenly transform our fortunes. In this exclusive instruction feature, we have compiled some of our favorite tips from some of the best ball strikers on the planet. Whether you recognize a fault in your own game within the solutions provided, or you're simply looking for some inspiration for your next range session, the advice that follows might just lay the foundations for better swings and sweeter strikes. Check out these superb Tour Pro ball striking tips to help your game. At number 1. Dustin Johnson, knee flex. In an attempt to make a long backswing and store up as much power as possible, you can over-rotate and straighten your right knee. The result is a reverse pivot, which places the majority of weight on your left side at the top of the swing. This mistake also causes the club to swing back longer than you need, making it extremely difficult to square the club face at impact. You need to shorten your swing and correct your weight shift in order to create more power with your driver. To do so, work on maintaining a slight knee bend in your right knee all the way from address to the top of your swing. As you take your club to the top, let your body weight shift to your right heel, so you feel athletic and loaded with energy. You'll find that your swing feels a little shorter than normal, but this is a good thing. In reality, all you're doing is getting rid of an artificially long backswing that was actually sapping the power from your swing. At number 2. Luke Donald, posture. When I set up to the ball, I stand pretty tall at first and then have a little bit of a knee bend. I then tip my upper body forward from my hips. That is important, because a lot of people try to get their upper body over the ball by having too much knee bend. That means they sit on their heels too much. In itself, that is not a very athletic position, but it also means that your spine angle is wrong. You need that good spine angle so that your arms hang down naturally. From there, you can make an athletic turn, keeping that spine angle constant through the swing. Sometimes I have too much knee flex at address and that means I sit back into my heels. I get too far away from the ball and I end up having to reach for it. My hand-eye coordination means I can get away with it, but if you're not playing every day, you will struggle. If you regularly thin it or hit it fat, work on your posture.
Connection starts from the ground up, Rock, and you know, it all starts in how we set up to the ball. We have to get our body in an athletic position, get our body in a position that it works natural from. And what we always told you was you had to be inside heel measurement, shoulder width. We want your knees slightly bent in. Hogan used to talk about feeling like he gripped the ground with the inside of his feet. And then from there, when you put your arms and you hold something, you're tying it in to the whole shoulder girdle, the lats, the pecs, the whole area. Now my body is in a strong position. If I had a sack of potatoes or 50 pounds and I wanted to throw it in that direction, I'd go to my right leg, I'd go to my left leg. Not one time would I do it with my arms or try to do anything. I'd shift my weight to the right, shift my weight to the left. One of Hogan's thoughts was that he always tried to imagine when he changed his swing that his elbows were attached to his body on his stomach, not up at the shoulder. And he actually, what he called, created a half a left arm there. And that would be like holding something heavy, you'd be here opposed to here. Right. And Hogan, and you were too, a little bit that way in the golf swing, a little what we call long arm. So we like to see what we call half a left arm, and it connects to the whole shoulder girdle. So if I'm holding something heavy, I'm holding it with my pec and my lat. My spine is between my shoulders, so that just ties everything in. And then it ties in all the way down in your legs, your body, and everything.
At number 3, Camilo Villegas, left wrist. My favorite swing tip is to keep your left wrist flat when you strike the ball. My first golf coach in Colombia taught me this. When I was a kid, I use it almost every time I play, and it's the one move I fall back on when I start to struggle. If your left wrist is cupped, bent back, at impact, then you've allowed the club face to pass your hands. You'll hit the shot thin or off to the right every time this way. If it's bowed, bent forward, then you're likely to have hooking problems. I'm guilty of this one. If you get this right, you'll hit it a lot straighter. At number 4, Jim Furyk, ball position. Here's a quick way to improve your contact. Stop playing the ball so far back in your stance. If I've seen one amateur player do this, I've seen 1,000, and they all do it for the same reason. They think that playing the ball back will help them make contact with the ball first and the ground second, producing a nice, healthy divot. But think about it. If you try to hit a ball that's somewhere behind the middle of your stance while correctly shifting your weight forward on your downswing, how can you expect to make contact? You can't, so you adjust by eliminating your weight shift and hanging back on your right side. At number 5, Henrik Stenson, shoulder angle. With a driver or fairway wood, your shoulders should be tilted at address. The left one should be higher than the right one, and not square, as they are with your irons. This technique ensures that you reap the benefit of whatever loft your driver or wood has to offer. Remember that modern drivers are designed to carry the ball a long way through the air, so a solid setup position will help you squeeze out every available
Okay, this is a fantastic drill for the person that's got the problem of coming forward in the shot. So all we're going to do is going to get a shaft. We're going to get the end of the golf club in line with the left shoulder, and you can see the club head in front of us. All we're going to try and do is get the club. We're going to try and pretend that we're going to strike the ball. So you can see that my right shoulder goes down into the shot. If I come up and lose it, you can see straight away I'm going to miss the ball. So keep a good setup for me, get behind to turn to the right, and then down to the ball. Down to the ball. If you've got difficulties doing this, we need to then start working on the stretching exercises, and you'll get there. Enjoy it.
The angle of the shoulder turn. I think this is a topic that isn't talked about enough and is extremely, extremely important. And I've only talked about half of it so far. I've talked about on the way back, you want a shoulder turn that's 90 degrees to the spine. And I've said that, you know, I've also mentioned that you want the turn through being 90 degrees to the spine. Well, what I haven't talked about is the mistake that most people make. Even a lot of PGA Tour players make this mistake, but they have lots and lots of talent. They practice for 4, 5, 6 hours a day so they can make up for some of these issues. And what I mean by this is the most common mistake that I see. The most common mistake that I see is too flat going back and too vertical coming through, okay? People say, well, you know, if you're coming over the top, it's going to be too flat coming through. But it's not the shoulder turn that creates the over the top, it's the hand movement. So it's too far inside, over the top, and then the shoulders work vertically, and there's your pull slice.
At number 6, Tommy Fleetwood, lag. If you ever see a top golfer swing in slow motion, you can see the lag. This is where, halfway through the downswing, the shaft is bent. It's almost like it's lagging behind the rotation of the body. As the player releases the angle in the wrist through impact, the club head rips through the ball with extra speed. If you see a player, someone like Ricky Fowler, who looks narrow on the way down, that's usually because they have a lot of lag. The opposite of this is when you release the angle in your wrists too early, and that's known as casting. That really costs you speed. To get lag, drag your arms down from the top. Imagine that you are holding a rope at the top of your backswing and just pull it straight down.
Lag in the downswing is probably one of the most misinterpreted things in how golf instruction's taught. So people are told, when you get to the top, lag the club head behind the hands and keep the angle as long as you can. Well, the problem with this is that, one, the club face is going to come in way too open, and two, there's not going to be enough velocity because there's less transfer of energy. So what I would advise you to do is to make your normal golf swing, but as you're coming down into the ball, at impact, we want to see both wrists unhinged, so both wrists are in extension and both arms are straight. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow from here, as you're maintaining that, the down cocking of this angle and then the rotation of the lead forearm, which is going to help you transfer the energy in the golf ball, giving you better speed and better accuracy.
At number 7. Justin Rose, weight shift. Getting the shaft leaning forward at impact, with your hands ahead of the club head and the club face stable, isn't as simple as just lean the shaft forward. It actually involves your whole body. The key is to shift 90% of your weight to your front foot on your downswing. Think of it this way, if you shift everything forward, then your hands shift forward, and stay ahead of the club head. Getting your weight forward also stops you from hanging back on your right side, where you're forced to flip the club head with your wrists just to make contact with the ball. This usually results in a slice. At number 8. Michelle Wie, narrow focus. Here's my tip, focus on the ball, and I mean really focus. At address, pick out a single dimple and don't lose sight of it until your ball leaves the face. Eyeballing a dimple steadies your body, keeping you lower to the ball, and prevents you from lifting your torso through the hitting zone. It sounds like a small thing, but little things can make a big difference. So take it from me, keep your eye on the ball. At number 9. Ernie Els, left arm connection. The connection between your left arm, your grip and the club head that you establish at address isn't just good for your setup. It actually helps you make a simple backswing, without worrying about swing plane and path. As you start the club back, keep your left arm pinned. Try to cover the logo on your shirt with your left bicep. To maintain this connection, you need to turn your shoulders rather than swing your arms. Even as your arms lift and your wrists hinge to complete your backswing, you should still feel the connection. Once you lose that connection, your chances of falling off plane or swinging beyond your level of control increase dramatically.
Once you understand the connection of the left arm, I think it's important that you understand the role the left arm plays in the golf swing. And I think people have been misled forever in how the left arm travels and what it does. First of all, you know, through teaching golf over the years, you always try to find the simplest ways that people relate best to the golf swing or to a feel. And one of the feels that I've found that really helps people to understand the golf swing is the feeling of keeping the left elbow always pointed down to the ground. Again, in Ben Hogan's 5 Fundamentals, he drew a picture of the left arm and how it worked, and he drew the picture of the left arm set at the top, and he drew the picture of the left arm traveling this way. And he described that as feeling like you thumb a ride. And I thought that was really a good way to describe it. And what I want you to understand is this club face is controlled actually by your left elbow. If my left elbow rolls here, look how that changed the club face. Look at the angle that created. And not only when the left elbow rolls here does it change the club face, it changes your radius and it changes your arc. So the idea, if you keep your left elbow down, look how your arc stays the same, look how the face of the club stays the same, and the radius of the golf swing stays the same. This can be done by simply connecting the left arm to your shoulder, feeling that you hold a handkerchief under it, and by the simple feeling of keeping your left elbow down going back and your left elbow down going through. That's exactly the way Hogan drew in his book the way the left arm traveled.
I'm going to talk to you now about left arm connection. And the left arm connects to the upper left side of the body. As you take the golf club away, you kind of feel that as you go back connected. But then at about this point, the left arm will rise up the chest. So it doesn't stay completely plugged in right there. There's a little motion throughout your backswing where the arm kind of goes up your chest. And then when you start down, the arm rides down your chest. But at this stage, halfway down, which I call the corner of the swing, the back corner of the swing, the arm connects, or there's a pressure point right here through impact. And this is so important for hitting the ball long. So many people come in with the space right here or slide the left arm across the body. This pressure point right here through impact to the other corner, this front side of the golf swing, corner to corner, is connected. And that left arm is very much against my side. You couldn't put anything underneath my armpit right here. And then it will go to the complete finish.
At number 10. Jason Day, swing wide to narrow. Wide swings are powerful swings, but simply tracing a wide arc won't help you add speed. The trick is to take the club back with your left arm extended and keep the grip as far away from your head as possible, then snap the grip down close to your body at the start of the downswing. Moving from a wide position at the top to a narrow one in your downswing boosts your swing speed. But don't overdo the wide part and keep your right arm straight in your backswing. Let it fold normally. Think high hands at the top.
Talk about wide, narrow, wide. This is what we're talking about. As Kevin sets up to the golf ball here, both his arms, you can see, are fully extended. They're both straight. He's ready to make a good takeaway from the golf ball. As he takes the golf club away from the ball, as he starts turning his body away, you can see he's got a very wide position here. Left arm is going to be kept straight. Right arm's got a little bit of bend in it here, but he's still in a very, very wide position at the top as he's taking the golf club away. Now, as he gets to the top of his golf swing, this is where we talk about getting narrow. We need to make sure that the golf club starts getting close to our body and close to our head. But as you can see, the way the golf club gets narrow here, look at how it starts getting closer to his body. Not as much as Sergio Garcia these days, but he's still in a very narrow position up here. He's creating a ton of lag in the golf swing a couple of ways. Number one, he's starting the downswing with his lower body and shifting to the left side. Number two, he is starting the downswing first before he completes his backswing. Number three, he's got very, very soft, supple wrist to be able to create this lag. So in his backswing, he was very wide, taking the golf club away. Now he's getting to a position where he's very, very narrow. And then as we start getting down into impact, you can see this is where we start talking about getting very wide again. Both arms are fully extended at impact. Weight is onto the left side. He's not ripped his shoulders open. He's not ripped his hips open. They're in a position where he's able to control the golf club. But here's the best part about it is after impact, look how both of his arms fully extend through the golf ball. Even after impact here, both arms are fully extended. So he has gone from wide in the backswing to narrow in the downswing to now a very, very wide position in the follow-through. This is what gives Kevin Kisner the ability to hit the ball as long as he does, as consistently as he does. He's not a very big guy, but Kevin is one of the longest hitters on tour.
And here is our pick on the secret swing tips from pro golfers. And let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Golf is never easy, especially as a beginner, but we're here to help. We've gathered some of the best top 100 teachers, tour players and social media instruction stars, to help you get the most out of your game as a newcomer to golf. Here are some fantastic tips for every beginning player. At number 1. Swing with an anti-slice grip. Krista Dunton. If you slice, it's probably because you're not closing the club face fast enough through the hitting zone. To improve your ability to deliver a square club face, relative to your path, make practice swings with your hands split apart on the grip. Hold the club in its normal position with your gloved hand, then slide your lower hand down to where the grip meets the shaft. Separating your hands like this makes it easier to square the face through impact and keep the handle pointing at your belly button as the club head slings out toward the ball. Make sure to brush the grass aggressively. If you can recreate the feels in the drill on real swings, your money. Here are some other tips by her.
Hi, my name is Krista Dunton. I'm going to give you a tip today on how to get the club moving on the right path and the right plane, right from the beginning part of the takeaway. Too many people get out of position in the first foot or two of the golf swing. So let's take a look at what you need to do. From your address position, one of the easiest ways to get the club moving on the correct path and the correct plane is really to keep the hands out of the equation. You want to feel your arms swinging. You want to feel the left arm swinging right across your chest so that your left bicep and your chest kind of make an instant connection. You want to keep the right arm just moving naturally, almost like if you were just to take the club back right hand only. This would be a great drill to just work the club back right hand only. You wouldn't do this and fan the club, then the club head would be open and behind you, and you wouldn't tend to kind of take it outside with the club face shut. You would allow for some natural rotation. And you want to get it to right about to where the club's parallel to the ground. So if I put the left hand on with it, I want to feel the same thing. The left arm across the chest and the right arm just feeling like I took it back right hand only, and very quiet with the hands. If the hands get too active early, they tend to roll the club and get the club face open and behind, or they can hinge it and shut the club face early. So you want to feel active arms, passive hands. I'm going to give you a good checkpoint also. At halfway back where the club's parallel to the ground, the club head should be right in line with your hands. If I drew a line down from the club head, it should be right about in the middle part of your feet. If you fan the club head will be behind your butt. If you take it outside, the club head will be way outside your hands. So keep the hands quiet, get the arms more active, and do a little checkpoint right about this position and see that the club head's right in line with your hands. That'll set you up for setting the club in the right path right off the bat and lead you into hitting the golf ball straighter and more consistent.
At number 2. 3 steps to perfect posture. Sean Hogan. How you set up over the ball greatly influences how well you're able to hit it. To correctly prep your posture for action, stand with the club pressed against your thighs. Then bend forward from your hips while slightly flexing your knees. If you do this without hunching your back, your arms will hang straight down. Perfect. Now grip the handle with your glove hand and check that it's at roughly a 45-degree angle to your forearm. Once you've taken hold with your gloved hand, add the other. Congrats! You're in perfect setup posture. And another useful tip by Sean Hogan.
If you want to maximize your distance with your driver, you've got to learn to hit up on the ball through impact. A lot of times players overspin the ball because they're hitting down on it, sometimes hitting pop-ups. So in order to do that, we're going to use the head cover drill. This is something you can do at home. You don't necessarily need to hit the ball itself. Just put the head cover about a foot or so out in front of the tee. In this case, I'll demonstrate as you can do it hitting shots as well. So head cover about a foot in front, going to take my driver setup, ball up the front of the stance, just a gentle tilt and lean back into my trail side here, so my spine feels like I'm on an upslope here. My spine is tilted away from the target. I'm going to make a comfortable backswing and swing up over the head cover. Beautiful. Nice high draw, low amount of spin, maximizing the distance. So if you're one of those players that tends to overspin it, perhaps hitting slices, hitting down and across it, it's a great little drill. As I say, it really works well at home. You can train it in your backyard. Head cover up front, out in front of the tee. See if you can flip the top of the tee and swing up over the head cover. It'll help you maximize your distance with the driver. Have fun.
At number 3. Get square at the start. Mark Durland. Often, shots go wayward because of a misaligned club face at address. Place an alignment stick just outside the golf ball, so it creates a 90-degree angle with the target line. As you set up, align the leading edge of the club with the stick, then pull it back to its regular position. It's a simple way to ensure that the face is square every time. And another useful tip by Mark Durland.
What do most students that come to me want? They want to hit the golf ball further. Well, to do that, we need to create more speed. Am I going to create more speed with tension, where I'm swinging the club very mechanically? Or am I going to create more speed by shaking it loose, getting those greasy elbows? So the first element I want to go over is the grip. And the most important thing about the grip to me when I'm teaching people is that you have to have one. If I don't have a grip, I'm not playing golf. So there's a little bit of leeway there, and the reason that I say that is we look at guys like Jordan Spieth, Paul Azinger, come to the top of mind, Dustin Johnson, that have different sorts of grips, but I would take their playing record any day of the week. So when I go over the grip, I do teach probably 20 to 25 people a year that have never touched a club before. And so I'm putting the club in their hand for the first time, so I've got to have some sort of baseline that I like to work around. And that's what I'm going to share here with you. The most important thing, or the next most important thing about the grip, is that it matches your pattern. So I see people with a very weak grip. That would be both hands turned towards the target, but they have it in a very nice position at the top of the backswing. I see people with very strong grips that would be turned away from the target, both hands. And again, the club's in a really good position, or it could even be a little open. So just because I have a weak or a strong grip at address does not mean that that club is going to be weak or strong at the top of the backswing. A lot of things can change, and that has to do with how I'm using my wrists in the backswing. Okay, so let's get into what do I like to see. And I'm going to do this right-handed, even though I have a left-handed club in my hand. So I start with the left hand, and one thing about golf versus other sports, so if I was holding a tennis racket, I would hold it in my palm. If I was holding a baseball bat, again, the bat would be more in my palms. We grip a golf club a little bit differently, and the way we do that is we grip it more down in the fingers. So when I close my hand, the V that I create between my index finger and my thumb should point right of my chin, and I'll take it as far right as your right shoulder. Don't want to see it outside your right shoulder. Now my right hand very simply comes in and covers the thumb. And if I look down again, that V between the index finger and my thumb on my right hand points to about the same spot. It's right of my chin and can go as far right as my right shoulder. Now within golf, there's 3 different ways we can grip it. So the first one would be the 10-finger grip. That's where I have all 10 fingers touching the grip. The next one would be the interlock grip, used by such players as Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, most of us know those names, where the pinky finger of the right hand interlocks with the index finger of the left hand. And then there's what we call the Varden or overlap grip, and that's where the pinky of my right hand just sits inside the index finger of my left hand. So a drill that I give to my beginning students who are working on their grip, or if at any point in your career your grip gets out of whack and it's time for a grip change, and I have a saying at my golf school, change a grip, lose a student. But if you need to change it, I have what I call a regrip drill. And what you do is you just take a club, and wherever you watch TV, you drink your coffee, you put the club right there. And when you sit down, you pull the club over, and you put it right up in front of your face, and you get your left hand on there the right way first. Then you put your right hand on, you grip it, and you put it down. And then you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. So the next time you go to the golf course, your hands instinctively go to that position. Now, one last thing we need to talk about that gets asked at my golf schools, probably every school that I teach, and that's going to be tension or grip pressure. And I have one that I really like for that. So I want you holding on to the club. Obviously, I can't grip it so lightly that the club, especially hot, Florida in the summer, hands are sweating. I don't want the club to come flying out of your hands. So the way that I get rid of tension is I'll have a student hold a club up to me just like this, and I'll walk in and I'll start pulling on the club or on the grip towards me, away from them, and usually it's a wrestling match. There's a lot of tension, they're resisting me. And what I get them to do, or what I want to see them do, is create greasy elbows or loosen those elbows up. And as soon as I do that, you can see the tension in my hands disappears as well. So those greasy elbows, and if we remember some of the old-time golfers, Lee Trevino, Sam Snead come to mind, Chichi Rodriguez, when they would step into a golf shot, they would actually pump their arms just a little bit. And it was getting rid of that tension. It was creating those greasy elbows that then there was no tension in your hands. So one thing you can do as you're watching this video, I have one more thing to talk about when it comes to tension or pressure in your hands, is go ahead and stand up. I want you to hold your hands, both hands, out to your side, and I want you to clench your fists as tight as you possibly can. And I want you to drop them. And what happened? They drop very slowly, very mechanically. Now I want you to go up there, I want you to shake it out nice and loose, and I want you to drop. And what'd you hear? You could hear it on me, the slap. You could hear it as you did it yourself, the slap. Well, guess what that is? That's speed. What do most students that come to me want? They want to hit the golf ball further. Well, to do that, we need to create more speed. Am I going to create more speed with tension, where I'm swinging the club very mechanically? Or am I going to create more speed by shaking it loose, getting those greasy elbows, and you can see how those arms instantly start to swing faster.
At number 4, get wide early for speed where it counts. Cam Champ. Speed starts at the beginning of your swing. Whether you can whip at 80 miles per hour or 120 plus like me, the key to generating ball speed is creating width in your takeaway. I see a ton of recreational golfers who struggle to create a full turn or rotation. That problem starts during the takeaway. Many golfers just pick up their driver and turn their shoulders. In order to create maximum speed, you have to create maximum width. This is something I work on a lot. Try taking the club back almost as far out as you can, creating that width. Naturally, your body will want to turn with you. This will create more speed when you come down from the top. Here are some golf swing tips by Cameron Champ and Jamie Sadlowski.
Look at you guys. Not many people would think that with the size you are that you possess that kind of power. Cameron, where are you generating this speed from?
As I kind of load coming down into the ball, it doesn't really look like I swing very fast, but it's just I have very fast hips, which then create kind of my lag effect.
Jamie, what about you? I know you played hockey growing up as a kid.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, you don't have to be big to hit it far. Like Cam was saying, it's fast twitch movements. So, a huge turn behind the ball, you get loaded up properly, and then from there you got a lot of width to create speed in your golf swing, and that's really how we hit it far.
We're all in love with the long ball. We all want to hit the ball farther. You mentioned one of the keys to your swing. Do you focus on any part of your swing?
Mainly, it's just a slow takeaway for me, and I tend to get over the top on my downswing. So mainly, I just think about completing my backswing, and from there, I just let it go.
Jamie, as you transition from being a world long drive champion, now trying to be on the PGA Tour, what changes have you made?
Yeah, I've shortened things up, and obviously I'm not trying to swing 150 miles an hour. I still want to swing fast because, length is such an advantage. Cam has showed that. So for me, slowed it down a little bit, but golf swing hasn't really changed that much.
I want to see you guys hit it because I want to learn something, and all of our viewers want to learn something.
Sure.
We've got the TrackMan set up. Total on that was 321. Maybe open it up a little bit.
Get it a little loose.
320, that's all? 185 ball speed, almost 186.
Tour average is what, 165 or 7 ball speed?
I don't know if you have the same thing, but I'm a little faster in competition. The numbers I'll have...
A little adrenaline.
Yeah, because the last event I got up to 196, which I can't do if I'm just sitting on the driving range.
Wow.
Pretty there.
That's 3 or 4 in a row. You can throw a blanket over them out there. Well, Jamie, let's see you do it.
All right.
Let's see you jump in there. That's a driver 5-iron for me. Ball speed 191, Jamie. Club speed 131. That's incredible. 321. So you guys both tied right now. 321. Can you open this up a bit?
Okay. If it doesn't matter where it goes, no problem.
Solid 40.
Yeah, I just threw the challenge down.
Okay. Doesn't matter where it goes.
Oh, well, that one was right down. That was your best one. And the total on that,
340.
343.
Well, I've learned one thing after doing a bunch of outings is you always stop after a good one because it's probably not going to get
So
any
I
better.
guess that means we're done with this portion of our show. Jamie Sedlowski hit it 343, and he's walking off. I want you to hit one more, Cameron,
All right.
while we enjoy this. See, you can learn something from watching good players. That's why I'm here. I'm trying to learn something from good players.
You're the technician.
We're just going to keep banging balls. Thanks for watching. See if this will help you. I'm sure it will.
That there is such a thing as perfection. And because we are human, we're all technically imperfect. So how can we ever achieve perfection? But I will tell you this, that I've always been a big believer of professional excellence.
You, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Diego Maradona, what do you have that at the end of the day you become bigger than the sport itself?
I don't think we're necessarily bigger than the sport. I just think that we've had so much success in the sport. And I think it's in the way we've done it. Whether it's through just pure dominance, or maybe someone may have a more flashy personality as well as dominating. Some people are they may do it differently than anyone's ever seen it done before in the past, and I think that's where I think people kind of gravitate towards. What Messi and Ronaldo are doing now in soccer is just phenomenal, but two different ways of doing it, right? And then you have Jordan coming into the league. He did it completely different than anybody else. And then when I came into golf, I done it differently because no one had ever trained. No one ever lifted weights. No one ever ran miles. No one ever did wind sprints. No one ever did any of those things in golf, so I did it differently. And I had a success doing it differently. And I think that's what people sometimes see and have gravitated towards. I guess, hello world, huh?
Hearing this, do you ever get tired of people watching you, asking you questions? You're 18 years old, there's going to be a lot of people expecting a lot of big things out of you. Well, that's fine, they can expect all they want, but I've always had this one bonus to my personality. My expectations are so high, no matter what anybody else expects, it's going to be lesser than what I expect of myself. Yeah. So that's a big bonus. And plus, I really don't give a darn what they think. You should learn something from each and every single round you play in. Every single round, you should learn something. Whether it's one thing, it might be 20 things. Learn something from each and every round. And I've done that. Every round that I've played, I've come back home,
I've critiqued my round. I've looked at it from the mental and mechanical side, what went wrong, what went right, and apply it to the next day. One of the things my dad always taught me is that if you put a lot of effort into it, you're going to get results. But if you don't put any effort into it, you're not going to get any results out of it. But more importantly, you don't deserve any results. So I mean, get out what you put into it. And one of the things that my dad always did when I was growing up, he always kept it competitive and fun. And I love to compete, so he kind of just always fed upon that. And my whole goal, my entire childhood, was to try and beat my dad. I took such a big cut at it to try and take the water out of blood. My competitiveness. That sort of brings me through in the clutch. When you have to make a putt, you make a putt. You have to hit this shot, you hit the shot. You just sort of like drop into another zone and you block out everything. That's really helped me. Something that I have always treated golf as, I've treated golf as a sport. And because I've played other sports growing up as a kid and competing against people who did train in that sport, we all trained physically to become better able to compete. You know, it would be asinine for someone to go ahead and not train to play American football, or for someone not to train to play basketball. So that's why I do all the lifting. That's why, you know, I do all the running. I do all the training that it takes to become physically prepared to play.
$50 degrees, wet, tight, actually pretty dormant lie. He had, you gotta remember, this is 1996 in November. He had 274 to the hole on the 5th hole, par 5. Okay. I had hit it about 30 yards behind him off the, I had laid up with a 4-wood, okay? That club.
Yeah.
Ripped it. Had about 90 yards left for my 3rd. I'm walking down, and he's waiting. Got two guys up on the ground. My caddy, what's he doing? Why is he waiting?
Yeah.
He said, man, I guess he's waiting on the green. Maybe he'll make some noise. So we got my yardage book out because I wanted to know. And I calculated up, he had 274 to the hole. And again, it was 50 degrees. This is 1996 with a soft Balata golf ball. It flew 4 steps behind the stick after they cleared the green. It flew 278, stopped about 6 feet past that. He had about a 15-footer for 3. And it was like case closed.
Nothing's ever going to be given to you. Everything's going to be earned. If you don't go out there and put in the work, you don't go out and put in the effort, 1, you're not going to get the results. But 2, and more importantly, you don't deserve it. You didn't earn it.